Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. In this week Forex analysis, we'll be looking at the Euro USD, the Pounds USD, the DSY, the Gold, BTC, and US30. I will share my trade plan for the week. So if you are new to this channel, my name is Xauusd, Forex trader with over 18 years trading experience. Please be sure to subscribe to this channel. So let's dive straight to the analysis of the week. Let's start our analysis with the Pounds USD. The Pounds USD on my daily time frame, can clearly see that we have a consolidation market on the daily time frame. We don't have a clear direction for any strong move on the Pounds USD. You can see we are currently on a sideways market on the Pounds USD. So we have to be very cautious currently with the current market condition. We have to be very cautious, guys. We have to be cautious because the Pounds USD on my daily time frame still remain on the sideways, but we have price close on these daily support areas, which is this support area, which might trigger price moving back to this next resistance level. Then a break of this resistance level might trigger more buy for the Pounds USD to the top. But if price fail to break this resistance level, this might trigger a sell back for the Pounds USD to this next support level. So let's confirm this particular daily analysis from the weekly time frame. Let's look at the weekly time frame of the Pounds USD. So on the weekly time frame of the Pounds USD, let's look at the structure of the market on the weekly time frame. From the weekly time frame, you can clearly see that we also have a sideways trend on the weekly time frame. You can see we have this price creating this sideways trend. So we need a break of price above this level before start looking for possible buy to the top. Then we need a break below this level before start looking possible sell to the downside. So our analysis on the Pounds USD still not clear. So we don't have a clear direction for the Pounds USD until we see a massive breakout for us to start looking for possible buying opportunity for the Pounds USD. But our scenario for Pounds USD this week will remain bullish because we have price rejecting from these support areas. So this might trigger price back to this resistance level on the Pounds USD. Then price break above this resistance, this might trigger more buy for Pounds USD to the top. But if price fail, this might push price back to the down for the Pounds USD to this next support areas on the weekly time frame. So this week, look out for price buying back to the next resistance level on the Pounds USD. So let's go back to the daily chart. So you can see from the weekly time frame, the weekly time frame support buying opportunity of price back to this next resistance level on the daily time frame. So expect buying opportunity from the Pounds USD this week. So let's look at our next pair, which is the dollar index. Let's look at the dollar index. So on my daily time frame, you can clearly see that we still have price breakout of our trend line, which connected three swing levels. We have this trend line that connected these three swing levels. So long price breakout of it, this is a sign of a bullish trend, but there's a condition in this breakout, because when the breakout happens, it happens on this resistance level, price close on this resistance level, and we can't buy from this current resistance level. We need price to fall back to a support level, which is these regions. We'll start looking for possible buying opportunity for the dollar index to the top. So I'm expecting a reversal of price for the dollar index this week because I can't buy from this current level. Except I see price, if I can see price break above this resistance high, then I'll start looking for possible buy to the top for the dollar index. So my current position, which is my scenario for the dollar index this week, will still remain on the sideways trend, but we need the price reversal back to this support area, which is, let me draw the zone. So we need a reversal of price back to this zone for us to start looking for any possible buying opportunity. So we expect a reversal back to this level, then we'll start looking for buying opportunity for the dollar index to the top. So let's look at the weekly time frame of the dollar index to confirm what we're expecting from the weekly time frame this week. So on my weekly time frame, you can clearly see that we still have price creating series of higher low from the structure. You can see we have this higher low, then higher low, then higher low. So this series of higher low indicates bullish momentum for the Pounds USD. But we have price currently close on a weekly resistance level. So long we have price still close on this resistance level, we have to be cautious about the pounds USD. If you are buying, you have to be cautious about the dollar index for now, because we have price close on a resistance level. Because if you are buying from this resistance level, is risky. You can see that the daily and the weekly are pointing out the same information, which shows that we need price to come to a support level for us to join the buys. We need price to come to this support level for us to join the buys on the dollar index to the top. So after we see that retest, then we'll start looking for possible buying opportunity for the dollar index to the top. So that is what we're expecting from the dollar index this week. So let's go back to the daily time frame. So on my daily time frame now, I'll be waiting patiently for price to do a retest back to this support. Then if I will start looking for possible buying opportunity on the dollar index. If you can also see from the daily time frame, you can also see that we have price also creating a series of higher lows, and higher lows. So this is a sign of also a bullish trend for the dollar index. But it doesn't mean that because we have a bullish trend in the dollar index, we will not go and buy on a resistance level, which is not advisable to buy on a resistance level. We are expected to buy from this support area for price to move to the top, guys. So expect a reversal on dollar index for us to buy from a support level. So let's look at our next pair. Are you a trader still finding it difficult to have your edge in this financial market? We help beginner traders or traders that is finding it difficult to make money from this market become profitable. You can book for my one-on-one mentorship, which is coaching. The link is in the description below, or you can get access to my video course. The link also is in the description below. You can also join my Telegram group. The link is in the description below, where you get free access to our signals and also access to free education. So join my Telegram group. The link is in the description below. So let's continue with the Forex analysis. Let's look at our next pair, which is the Euro USD. So the Euro USD on my daily time frame, you can clearly see that we have price currently on the daily support level. So long we have price on this daily support level, there's a chance of price pulling back to the top. So price might be testing back to this next daily resistance level for us to start looking for possible selling opportunity, which is this daily resistance level. So for us to start looking for possible selling opportunity for the Euro USD to the downside. So because this current level we have price close on the Euro USD, we can't sell from that particular support level. So selling from that support level, it's a risk selling from that particular support level. So we need price to come back to a clear resistance level for us to start looking for possible selling opportunity on the Euro USD. So let's look at the structure of Euro USD on the daily time frame. So on the daily time frame, you can see we have a series of lower highs. You can see we have series of lower highs on the Euro USD. So long we have this series of lower highs, we see expect price to continue to drop to the downside. So our scenario for Euro USD still remain on a bearish trend so long we have this series of lower highs. But we need price to move to a resistance level where we can comfortably look at for selling opportunity for the Euro USD. So let's confirm this particular move from the weekly time frame. So on the weekly time frame, we can also see that we also have price close on a weekly support level. So long we have price close on this weekly support level, I don't encourage selling from this weekly support level. So we need price to retest back to this resistance level. Then start looking for possible selling opportunity for the euro to the downside. So there's no clear chances for us to join the sales yet, because this current level still remain as our support level. So we need the price reversal back to this resistance, then before start looking for possible sell for the euro to the downside. So let's look at the structure of the weekly time frame on Euro USD. So the structure of on the weekly time frame, you can see we have clear scenario of a bearish trend, which is we have this higher high, then a series of lower highs, lower highs, lower highs. So long we have this series of lower highs, expect price to continue to drop down for the Euro USD to this next, which you expect price to retest this resistance, then start looking for sell to this next support level, and a break of this support level will trigger more sell to this next support level on Euro USD. So this is what we're expecting from Euro USD this week. So let's go back to our daily time frame. So on the daily time frame, we have to be patient and expect price to move back to this region for us to start looking for possible selling opportunity for the Euro USD to the downside. So let's look at our next pair, which is the Australia USD. So Australia USD on my daily time frame, you can clearly see that we still have price creating series of lower highs. So long we have this series of lower highs, we still remain on a bearish trend on the Australia USD. But we have an inner structure for Australia USD, which is we have this lower low and a higher low, then higher low, then higher low. So for us to start looking for possible selling opportunity, we need price to take out this higher low, then we'll start looking for possible sell for the Australia USD. For buying opportunity, we need price to take out this high, then we'll start looking for possible buy for the Australia USD to the top side. So for now, we don't have a clear direction for the Australia USD, guys. We don't have a clear direction for Australia USD. So let's look at the weekly time frame of Australia USD. So on the weekly time frame, we can clearly see that for 2 weeks now, price has been rejecting from this resistance level. So long price have rejected from this resistance level, and we also have a uptrend structure on the weekly time frame. For us to start looking for possible sell, we need price to come to a resistance level for us to start looking for sell for the Australia USD to the downside. So we don't have a clear direction for Australia USD for now. So until we wait for a clear direction for us to join the sells or the buys from the Australia USD. So let's look at the next pair, which is the USD JPY. So USD JPY on my daily time frame, can clearly see that we still have a bullish structure on the USD JPY, which is we have price creating series of higher lows, then higher lows, then higher low. So this series of higher low indicates the bullish momentum for the USD JPY. So long we have this bullish structure, we need price to retest back to these support areas. Then we start looking for possible buy to the top. We can't buy from this current high. So price is currently on a high level. So we can't buy from this level. So we need price to retest back to these support areas. This support area for us to start looking for possible buy to the top for the USD JPY. So let's look at the weekly time frame of the USD JPY. On my weekly time frame, you can clearly see that price has closed above this resistance level, which price has converted this resistance level into a support level. So we expect price to retest it, then we'll start looking for more buy to the top. So expect a reversal for price back to this resistance, previous resistance level, before we start looking for possible buying opportunity on the USD JPY. We can clearly see that we also have a series of higher lows. So you can see that we have a bullish structure, which is we have a series of higher low on the USD JPY on the weekly time frame. So long we have this series of higher low, expect price to retest back to this previous resistance before start looking for possible buying opportunity for the USD JPY to the top. So let's look at let's go back to the daily time frame. So on my daily time frame, so we have to be patient and wait for price to retest this level before start looking for buy to the top. So let's look at our next pair. So but before we look at our next pair, if you are looking for a good profile to trade with, Anted Profile is here to serve you. Anted Profile have very low spread in terms of spread. We have a very low spread in Amtech. You can see we have a very low spread. Then you can also see that we also have Amtech is also giving out 35% discount. So if you use my link in the description below, you get access to 40% discount. So for you to get access to this Amtech Profile, we have the instant. We also have instant light. We also have instant funded account. So depending on the ones you are going for, you can also get access to 1-step challenge and 2-step challenge, 3-step challenge. So you can click the link in description to purchase your Profile account, get access to it, and the withdrawal is within 4 hours. So once you place your withdrawal on Amtech, it will just take 4 hours for you to get your withdrawal. There's no delay in terms of withdrawal in Amtech. There's no spillage in Amtech also. So click the link in the description below to purchase your Profile from Amtech Trader. So let's continue with the Forex analysis. Let's look at our next pair, which is the gold USD. So the gold USD on my daily time frame close on a support level. So long we have price close on this support zone and this support zone, this might be a sign of price pushing back to this resistance level, and a break of this resistance might trigger more buy for gold to the top. But we still have this major structure on gold. We need price to break out of this major structure for us to start looking for a strong buying opportunity for gold to the top. But for now, we still have a sideways trend currently on gold USD. We have price still remain on this sideways trend for now on gold USD. So expect price to move back to this resistance level, and a break of this resistance level might trigger more buy for gold USD to the top. So let's look at the major structure of gold USD before look at the weekly time frame. So on the major structure, we can see we still have series of lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, and lower highs. So long we have this series of lower highs, this indicates a more bearish trend for the gold USD. But we need price for us to look at for selling opportunity. We need price on gold USD to break out of this major sideways trend level. Then we expect to retest, then we'll start looking for possible sell for gold to the downside. So we need price to break out of this level for us to join the major structure for selling opportunity. Then for buying opportunity, for overall buying opportunity, for your buying opportunity, we need price to break out of this structural level for start looking for possible buy to the top on the gold USD. So this is what we're expecting from gold USD on the daily time frame. Let's confirm from the weekly time frame. So on my weekly time frame, we can clearly see that we see our price close on the weekly support level. So long we see our price close on gold on the weekly support level, let's expect price to buy back to this our resistance level. Expect price to buy back to this resistance level on gold USD. So which is we expect price to buy it from this level to this resistance level. If price fail to break this resistance level, this might trigger a sell opportunity for gold bar to the downside. So this is what we're expecting from gold this week. So be patient, guys. Expect price to give us a clear direction for us to join the good sell or buy this week. So, but my current scenario now, so long we have price on this support level, expect a buy back to this resistance level on gold USD. So my scenario for this week should mean a short-term bullish for gold USD this week. So let's look at the next pair, which is the US30. So US30 on my daily time frame, you can clearly see that we still have a bearish structure on the daily time frame, which is we have this higher high, then a lower high and a lower high. So we expect price to break below this major structure level, then we expect to retest, then start looking to join the bearish move. Let's look at the buy scenario. For the buy scenario, we need price to break above this high, then we'll start looking for possible buy to the top, because the major structure on the US30 still remain bullish. So we need price to take out the inner structural level for us to join the buys opportunity on US30. So let's look at the weekly time frame of US30. Currently, we have price rejecting from this support level on US30, which signals a buying opportunity for US30 to the top. So expect buy for the US30 this week. So let's go back to the daily time frame. So on my daily time frame now, so long we have price rejected from a weekly support, and we also have price, we also have this series of lower highs on the daily time frame on US30. We expect price to break above this high, then we'll start looking for buying opportunity to the top for the US30. So my scenario for this week for US30 is remain bullish. So we'll be looking for buying opportunity for the US30 this week. So let's look at our next pair, which is the BTC USD. So BTC USD remain in this range. So we need price to break out of this major range for start looking for possible decision. So we need price to break out of this high, then start looking for buy to the top. But we need price to break below this level for us to start looking for sell to the downside. So we don't have a clear direction for BTC USD for now. So let's look at the weekly time frame of the BTC USD. So on my weekly time frame on BTC, we can clearly see that we have price now on these support areas. So and also have price on the resistance level. So we don't have a clear direction on BTC for now. Let's be patient and expect a clear direction before we make any decision on the BTC USD. Let's look at our next pair, which is the New Zealand USD. New Zealand USD on my daily time frame, you can clearly see that we still have We don't have a clear structure for decision making on the New Zealand USD. Let's look at the weekly time frame. So on the weekly time frame also, you can see we don't have a clear structure for decision making on the weekly time frame. So we leave New Zealand USD for now because we don't have a clear direction on New Zealand USD. But we have price close on the support level at this area. This might trigger a buying opportunity for price to break out this major structure for the New Zealand USD. So we might be expecting a bullish move this week for New Zealand USD. So let's look at the next pen, which is the USD card. So on my daily time frame, we have price. Let's look at the daily time frame clearly on USD card. Let me clean out all the lines on USD card on daily time frame. So on the daily time frame, you can see we have this major level. We have this major resistance level. Price have been testing this level for 2 weeks now. Price tested this level the first time. So this is the second time price testing this level. This might trigger a bearish trend for the card USD to the downside. This might push price below for the card USD to the downside, because you can see on the card USD daily time frame, we have a series of lower highs on the card USD. So we might be expecting more drop on the card USD to the downside. So let's look at the weekly time frame of card USD. So on the card USD daily weekly time frame, you can clearly see that price is currently reacting to this resistance level. So price tested the resistance level and closed below it, which indicates a reversal of price back to this previous resistance level for start looking for possible buy for card USD to the top. So for the weekly time frame, my overall structure for card USD remain bullish, but we need price to retest this support level, which is this support level for start looking for possible buy to the top on the card USD. So this is what we're expecting from the card USD this week. So expect price to drop back to this resistance level. This previous resistance level will be our target for the selling opportunity on the card USD this week. So let's look at the next pair, which is the USD CHF. So USD CHF on my daily time frame, you can clearly see that we have a very good bullish move on USD CHF. So we expect price to retest back to this support area on the daily time frame. Then we'll join the buys to the top for USD CHF. So expect more buys on USD CHF this week. You can also see that we have a series of higher low, guys. You can see that we have a series of higher low. So now we have a series of higher lows. Expect more buys on the USD CHF this week. So let's look at the weekly time frame of USD CHF. On the weekly time frame, we also have an indication of price close above a resistance level, which expect a retest. Then we'll start looking for more buy for USD CHF to the top. So expect price to keep buying, to keep bullish on USD CHF. So our scenario this week on USD CHF remain bullish. So we expect price to retest this resistance level for start looking for possible buying of price to the top. So if you find this analysis helpful, please do well to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more trading tips and forex analysis. You can also watch my Euro USD analysis at the top, where I break down what is currently happening on the Euro USD. See you in my next video.